In this lecture, we'll be starting with loops. So basically, loops are used to do some repetitive tasks. For instance, if you want to generate a table of 13, what you can do is you can make use of a loop which will run that many number of times. So there are a couple of types of loops that we have in PHP. For instance, the one which we will be covering initially is the while loop, and then we'll see for loop, and then when we have arrays with us, to loop through arrays we have for each loop. So let's go ahead and explore while, for and for each loop in PHP. So here in our code view we have this loops.php page, and the first loop that we will be exploring is the while loop. So let's have a variable I is equal to 1. Now let's say I want to generate a table of 13 till 10. So what I want to do is multiply 13 with 1, 13 with 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth till 10. So what I'll do is I'll make use of the while loop. So I'll say while, and then I'll put a condition over here. Notice that I've already initialized the variable I with 1, and then I'm testing out if the value of I is less than or equal to 10. So here's the test condition basically. Then it will go inside, and here I'll write $val is equal to $i into 13. So the result is now stored in this variable $val. And next what I'll do is I'll write $i into 13 is $val. And next statement that I'll write is a shorthand notation of saying it in this way, I plus 1. So basically what I'm doing over here is I'm initializing the value I with 1, then I'm testing if the value I is less than or equal to 10. So obviously that holds true, and it will go inside and it will multiply I with 13, and the result will be stored in the variable val. Then I'm printing that thing out, and again I'm incrementing it with 1. I plus plus is, as I mentioned, shorthand notation for writing I equals I plus 1. So 1 is added to this variable, and then again the condition is evaluated till the time I is true. So the thing is, with while loop, it's gonna execute at least once because the condition is going to be true. So that's while loop. And now if I go ahead and run this in browser, so you can see that the values are being printed, but it's not on a new line. So let's go ahead and add a new line to it. And there we have it. Let's refresh the page now. So here's the table of 13. As you can see, 1 into 13 is 13, then 2 into 13 is 26, and so on and so forth till 130. So that's one way of writing it using the while loop. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing using for each loop. So with for each loop, as you can see, all the three statements that we had in our while loop, like initialization, then testing, and then increment. So here, let me write it down. Increment, and this one was testing, and this one was initialization. Okay, so in for loop we are doing all at one place, initializing the variable I with 1, then let's say testing it as I less than equal to 10, and I plus plus, incrementing it. And here we're saying the result is now stored in the variable val, and then we are simply printing it out. Let's add a new line or break, you can say, over here. And here I've also appended one more new line. So we have while loop result, and then a space, and then the for loop result. So you can see that we are just doing the same, initialize, test, and increment. And again over here we are using the shorthand operator, which means that we are incrementing the value by 1 at a time, and the result is then shown over here. Let me show you the result now. So here you can see that the result is just coming till 9. So what I'll do is over here I'll be incrementing the value of 10 to, let's say, 11, and that means the same thing. And over here when I will refresh it, you'll see the value coming up. So that was for loop, and next we will see how we can loop through arrays. So over here I'll be declaring one array, and it's the same array which we have been exploring till now. The only difference this time is that we'll be printing all these array values without making use of the print r statement. So here we have the students array and we have all these students. What we will do is we'll make use of the for each loop, and here you can see that we are passing the students array first as student. So each of these items are now actually students. If I just go over here and say echo $student and then have the br over here included. Now if I just show you the result by refreshing the page, you'll notice John, Jenny, Anthony, Brad and Hancock being printed. So using for each loop we can access array objects, and this was all about the basics of PHP. Now in the upcoming series we will be covering some advanced topics of PHP. Thank you.